Go ahead, thank you.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Yep.
Can you confirm you're able to see the presentation?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone, and thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Fanny and the team for setting up this bootcamp. It's no ordinary feat, as you know. It's not a small bootcamp. It's a long bootcamp, and I thank them for their persistence and commitment. So today's topic is Einstein email recommendations. If you have been attending all these sessions, you might have gone through all the other features under the Einstein capabilities. So the Einstein STO, content messaging insights, copy insights, so many other features. And today's topic, the Einstein email recommendations, is very much important to create personalized content, either in the email or in the recommendation. If you want to recommend something that is more personalized, so these are the features that are available out of the box that we can make use of. So can anybody guess what it might mean when we say Einstein email recommendations? Just a quick chat. Would like to understand what do you think of email recommendations?
Maybe of templates, proper templates for proper scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's partially right. So for some scenarios, the scenarios in the recommendations, it means the algorithm that feeds, that executes the logic of how to recommend something, some product or some content to a specific user. So these email recommendations, if you can relate to your emails that you get from any product purchase, when you are done with the product, or when you have signed up and you keep receiving some emails, in the email at the end or somewhere in the email, you would see products you may like, or new arrivals, or the purchases you have abandoned. Now that's in the cart, but that's not finished. So these are all powered by the recommendation logic that we build inside the Einstein email recommendations. So we're going to look at it in more detail. First, start with what's this recommendation mean, where we can set it up, and how it makes an impact, how it makes a personalized content. And I will skip this slide, so I don't need this, I believe. So before we dive in, let's understand a few topics, a few key terms that we're going to regularly use and we need to define before setting this up. So anonymous users versus known users. If let's say we do have a website, we are launching a product and we created a website and we are tracking all the user behavior. So whoever is coming onto the website, we want to understand what kind of products they are searching for, what are their interests, which product is in more demand. Or if a known customer is, they have already signed up and they're logging in and they're searching for a product, or they're trying to buy a product, or they already bought a product, all that information can be tracked inside Marketing Cloud. Anyways, we do have the email opens, clicks, and all of the tracking information. And this Einstein recommendations, what it will do is it will track all the user behavior and it will try to recommend the next best product for them. So the anonymous users are somebody who have not provided any kind of information. So those are completely strangers, but we still track some data about them. Even though they're anonymous, we will assign some code, unique code to them, and get all their tracking data, what web pages they have viewed and what products they have clicked on, how much time they spent on a specific product. So all this information can be collected and tied to that anonymous user. And at a later point of time, if they provide their email ID or some specific information, some unique information, then we store all the information and tie to that specific known user. So the process starts with anonymous users, who are somebody whose data we do not have, whose unique information that we do not have. And catalog is a list of all the products. It could be, if it is a product-based company, then let's say the product you're trying to launch is related to the jewelry or some accessories or some menswear. So in that case, the catalog will contain all the products that you're trying to sell on the website. So for some other websites, maybe it's a information content-based website, the catalog can include the content, not specifically the products, but information about the content, the news, the daily news that goes, the updates, and all those can be included in the catalog. And the collected tracking code. So when I said we are going to track all the user behavior, what they have been doing, it can be done by using the tracking code. So on the website, we will ingest some tracking code. It's like a spy who monitors, who sits on the customer's computer, and it's like collects all the data and it sends back to the recommendations engine. So it is done through the tracking code. And the contact ID, it can be something which uniquely identifies a specific customer in specific login. And scenarios, these are the algorithms. So we set up, we say that the person who purchased or the person who visited the last page, we can set some rules saying these are the criteria. If this the user behavior meets this criteria, then recommend these products, or else recommend the other products. We can set all that algorithm and rules under the scenarios section. And next is the SKU or the unique ID. For every product, the variation of the product, we define a unique SKU ID. And the product, if let's say the product is a hoodie, the Trailblazer hoodie, the product code will be unique for the Trailblazer hoodie, and it will be a different ID for maybe the Trailblazer socks. For the particular Trailblazer hoodie product code, there can be multiple SKUs. If let's say the Trailblazer hoodie size S, M, L can contain different SKUs, SKU IDs. So the variations of a same product can be maintained as a different SKU ID. So these are all the things that are beneficial to know before we dive in. So these are all the example recommendations. These are all the emails that have used the recommendations engine, not necessarily the Einstein email recommendations, but it can be another product. But this is basically how an email can look like when we have these recommendations included. So this is a basic email that says maybe some customer has made a purchase. It's saying, thanks for purchasing, and if you have any questions, contact us at so-and-so number. And at the bottom of the email, based on your recent purchase, you may also like these items handpicked just for you. So how will anybody know these are the products that you may be interested, that a customer who purchased some product may be interested to purchase some other products as well? So how these items are popping up? So there should be some algorithm that works behind in the engine that identifies, okay, this customer has viewed this page, or this customer has purchased a mug. Maybe they might want to buy a picture or a glass set or something like that. So we set some rules, and depending on these rules, the products will be mapped and those specific products will be displayed. So as you see here, they have purchased maybe some item that is relevant to these ones. So in the recommendations, these items are popping up. And these are other examples of how the recommendations can be put into use. So recommendations can be for the new items. Whenever a new product is being launched and we want to update our customers, saying, hey, this is the new product that arrived, and this may be of interest to you. You may check this out. We can include that information in the email communication. So this is about the new product information. So it can be about abandoned cart as well. Let's say a customer have purchased something, tried to purchase something, they added that to the cart, but maybe they want to check it again at a later point of time, or maybe they have something else come up. So they may abandon the cart. So it would be good to remind them, sending an email saying, hey, you have left so-and-so item in the cart. You can complete your purchase. You see on the right example. So it says complete your purchase. So whatever action that left incomplete on the website can be tracked, and the email can include that information as well. And including a coupon code may also encourage them to take the action. So these are a couple of examples where we can put these recommendations in the email. So let's say I am the recipient of the email and I get some information about a purchase, and it's also giving me some other information about a related product that goes as a bundle with the product purchase. So when I see that in my email itself, I may be interested to check this out. I may click on this link and go to the website and finally end up purchasing, or may end up looking at other products which are similar to this one, and maybe at a later point of time I may make the purchase. So it is good to include all the recommended products as well. So this is for the product based company. So if it is a content based company, like a daily newspaper or something, if they have expressed some interest reading out the health related content, so maybe for suggested articles, we can list all the articles that are related as the that fall under the health category. I'm sorry about that. So the related categories can be included under the suggested article or something like that. So this is the workflow, like process of what happens. So first on the website or the email, based on the activity that the customer takes. If the browsing and click behavior is tracked, and the purchase history, what items they have purchased, or the abandoned items in the cart, explicit and implicit feedback also something that the customer may set their preferences. When you sign up for a specific product or some, like you're signing for the Amazon or H&M or any other website, you go and set your preferences that you are interested in so-and-so products, or in categories, menswear or some shoes. So depending on the feedback given, that's also a way that we track we understand more about the users and their behavior, and the email activity and subscriber information that they provide. So how often they are opening the emails, the clicks, what kind of products they're clicking in the email. So that can be tracked to understand. And wisdom of the crowds. This is like the general feedback. So maybe most in demand. And so what is everybody liking, which is in more demand, like that. So all this information can be collected on the customer. So if we want to make some relevant connection between a customer and the brand, we need to first understand the customer, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. Then only we can suggest something that is more apt for them. So in order to first recommend, before even recommending, we need to understand more about the customer behavior. So if we don't have information about the customer, then it cannot be personalized. It can be like wisdom of the crowd, so most popular or customer most in trend, something like that. So understanding more about what their likes or dislikes are helps us delivering more personalized content. So once we have an understanding of the customer behavior, their history and all their information, then it's there in the recommendations engine. We set up some rules, and depending on these, it will predict what is the next best product, or depending on their recent click history or the browse history, what can be recommended. And depending on that, it can be recommended on multiple. Also do the recommendations on the web. Now, let's say email is something that we receive in the inbox, and as part of the mail, we do have the product recommendations. Web recommendation could be something like you go to the Amazon, you log in with your ID, so it tracks all your recent browse history. Or you go to the Amazon Prime or the Netflix, it gives a list of all the movies or the episodes that you might be interested in based on your past browsing history or watch history. So that could be an example of the web recommendation. So this is how the flow goes. First, we understand the customer behavior and we apply some rules in the engine. And then based on that, those recommendations can be provided over different channels. So under the Einstein recommendations, what we have inbuilt within the Marketing Cloud, we do have two different types of recommendations, which is the one is the email recommendations and the web recommendations. So how do we accomplish this? So whenever we send out an email, that email will have some recommendation logic. We include that as part. If let's say we are creating an email with the HTML code, and in that HTML code, we include this recommendation logic. So whenever they open this, based on this recommendation logic and based on how we place this in the template, we can also make use of the AMP script to properly align or customize that. So depending on that and the recommendation logic which is included in the email, those products will be displayed in the email. And this can be customizable. And the web recommendations, they can be done using a collect code, a track code. This is the track code that we include, the collect code we include on the website. So whenever the user opens a website, so this collect code, what it does is it keeps watching and it keeps tracking all the information, and it sends back to the recommendations engine. So this can be generated as a HTML or JSON snippets, which can be embedded into the HTML of the website code. So this is the basic flow. First of all, we go to the recommendation, the Einstein email recommendation, we log in there, and then we upload the catalog. So let's say we do have a set of products. We are doing product recommendations. We do have a set of products. First of all, we need to identify what are all the products we have, their categories, their colors, sizes, and all those relevant item tags and everything. So we include everything, we upload everything into the recommendations engine. So whenever there is a match, it can identify all the similar items and recommend those. And we can also install and customize the code. So how the recommendations will be displayed in the website or the email is through this code that we create. And we include that as part of the content and build the final content. And this is a combination of all the smart algorithms that we define within the engine. And also the data has to be automatically refreshed. If the data has to be dynamic, if it has to be more relevant. Let's say I give an example here. We are trying to purchase a product, but the product has been out of stock. Then it is meaningful only to include those products in the email which are in stock. If we are sending an email, the product recommendation for a product which is out of stock, then it's not much meaningful. It doesn't lead to any action. If we include something which is in stock, the customer might click on it and then end up purchasing. So it's very important that we do maintain a live dynamic data, which for a product e-commerce website or something where the product information keeps changing very frequently, it's very important that we have this refresh schedule like a streamed up in a live stream. And the data has to be fine-tuned and it's clean, so it can provide the best recommendation. So this is all the main ingredients for the whole process to work. So it's very important to maintain a good catalog of all the products and the updated information, and also get the updates regularly, so the data that we are sending is relevant. And I briefly touched upon the types. We have talked about the product type and the content type. So product catalog type is something about all the products that are available, along with the images or any category or keywords or anything that is more relevant to the product. If let's say a person has browsed some information that was more specific to the shoes, the category we define that as shoes. So in the recommendations engine, in the email or in the website, we can say deliver more images, display more images that are related to the shoes, the category shoes. So there are a specific set of items that we define along with the product image and the name and the category, subcategory, some specific attributes also we need to define and include in the catalog. So it has more information and it can predict more intelligently. So the more data we have, the more intelligently it can predict. And the content type of catalog is used for suggesting the articles or the blog posts, videos, or any other type of content. And even for example of video, if you have watched something on the YouTube, you will get recommendations for the similar type of videos. And banner is something which is like a hero image. If you might have noticed on some websites, it's like a fixed banner on the top of the page or on the footer, where it asks you to sign up, or it displays some coupon code or something like that. So this stays the same for all the pages or some pages that we set. So it has a fixed call to action or some information which is relevant to all the web pages on the website. So this is the banner catalog type. And how we get information to the catalog. So initially we may upload it manually, or we may stream it. We may connect it to the website and stream it. So two different ways of streaming updates and the batch updates. So streaming updates are something like whenever there's a change on the website through the API, it gets those changes reflected into the Einstein recommendations engine. So by using collect code, we can achieve this. And it can provide the streaming updates for a specific set of fields, like online availability. Is the product in stock or out of stock, or the price? Because some of the products, the price keeps changing depending on the offers and the sale season. So these are all key fields that get streamed into the recommendations engine. And these streaming updates are ideal for when there are changes that happen so frequently, like a product in e-commerce site. And also with the streaming updates are helpful when we are starting from scratch. Let's say I have a new instance and there is no catalog, and I have no products or any information that is available in there. So what I can do is I can set up this streaming update, and whatever a user browsers, that information, that product information, subcategory and everything will be synced back to the Marketing Cloud Einstein engine. So the catalog information can be created, can be built on subsequently as the website users keep browsing the website. So these streaming updates are relevant when we are starting from scratch, and also when there is a high frequency of changes on the website, and that needs to be kept very updated on the recommendations engine as well. Batch uploads are done when we just upload it one time and then we're done for the day. So for a product which doesn't change very often, let's say mattresses, so there are a few maybe limited models in there. The price may not change that frequently. So in that case, we can do an update and upload at once. And the customer will have all the files, the batch upload to the FTP servers, and through that FTP server to the recommendations engine that we upload. So we're going to look at that process in a couple of minutes. Maybe I'll take a break here and show how that looks like. So this is all the different steps in the upload process. I'll take a break here and switch to that. Okay, give me 1 second. So this is my Marketing Cloud instance. I'll go back to the home page just to show you how to navigate to that. So a quick question here. In order for me to access these Einstein features, what is the prerequisite? What is the pre-step that I have to do? If you have been following all the previous sessions, then you would know that. So you need to activate the Einstein features in the setup. So you need to activate that, and these features will be displayed. And for the email send time optimization or any other features to work, so it needs at least 90 days worth of history, user history, to perfectly suggest or determine the send times or the frequencies or the scoring and everything. So for the Einstein email recommendations and the web recommendations, we do have here under Einstein email recommendations. So under this one, this is the overview page that we that gets displayed when we log in. So let's first go to the catalogs. So I will demo how to import our own catalog. So I have a catalog which has the products and all the attributes defined on the product along with the code, name, the type, subcategory, and the price, sale price, available or not, and some image links, the description, and the keywords. So keywords are also important, and if we want to recommend relevant recommendations, so adding more keywords also will help. So this is the file that I will be uploading. So I go here, say connect a new catalog. So when I say the catalog are 3 types: product, content, and the banner. So now we are going to create a catalog for the products. And how are we going to upload? So is it through the FTP or through the public URL? In the example that I have shown here under the batch uploads, so this is coming via the FTP server. So for this one, since it's a small file, I'm going to manually upload it, but there is also an option to get it from the public URL. So for this one, I get this manual upload and I will upload the file. This is the file. And what format is it the tab delimited or CSV file or pipe delimited? So we can set this. And also, what is the unique ID? So under here, you need to identify each product by the ID uniquely. So product code is the unique ID here. So I'll go back and define the unique ID as the product code. And is it a partial catalog? I'll say yes, and then upload the file. So it takes a while to upload. So we can, if the product catalog already uploads, already there, uploaded. So earlier you might have seen that pop-up saying the product catalog is already there, and if you're trying to import more, it might impact the existing algorithm. Then I said, okay, I'm sure for proceed. So it created the product catalog with the file that I have used here. And now it's the time to map. So I have these attributes defined in the file. So these needs to be mapped to the fields in the engine. So that's that it maps to these specific ones and relates the sale price to the sale price and recommends based on that. So mapping, this is a standard file that I have used. So all the headings are mapped properly. I'll just do a quick review whether it's mapped correctly or not. So it seems to be all perfect. Rating anyways, I don't have. Product code, I already identified that as the unique ID. And number of reviews, release date, I don't have this in the file. So I will leave them as is. So standard headings, these are the headings that are within the engine. And these are the headings that is coming from the file that I uploaded. And what date format that I am using. And here, product type. So the product type, can that contain multiple values or not? So I will use these multiple values for product subcategory. And key values or keywords also, multiple values can be there. For image link, it's just one link. So I'll just leave it. And tag, I can tag these fields. So locale is something which is not available here, but this can be used to display differently based on different locales. So this can be set up if that has been enabled. This doesn't have this enabled, so that doesn't show any options. So once we're done with that mapping, we click Save. So it processes those and gets all the items and the summary. And if you want to upload more on top of it, then we can do that. Same thing. And next one is the implementation. So collect code is something which I haven't covered. So let's go back to this one. So we have this batch uploads. So under the batch uploads, we can define the categories, the attributes, user activity, and summary. So the type of catalog that we want to use, the product, and the attributes. What are the attributes that we want to use? So we don't want to use any of these attributes. We just leave it off, or if we want to use this, select them. And if we want to use any custom attributes as well, we can add these here. We can include them. And about the users, so link website behavior and email identity. So if we want to track the user behavior, that's where we set all the other permissions as well. We set it. So earlier I have shown that locale option is not displaying because this is not enabled here. So recommendations in many languages on a single site, then we enable this localization support. And custom user profile attributes. So any other attributes that we want to define and use them. So we can enable this option and define those custom attributes. And user tracking, so we enable this. So we get all the website behavior tracked in and collected. So whenever we want to run this recommendations engine, this is a must that we keep this enabled. Only then the website behavior and all the tracking data flows into the recommendations engine. And what kind of activities that we want to collect? So user activity. So page views are collected by default. Whenever a customer goes and views a page, that will be collected. And category view. So if a similar category shoes is viewed, then it tracks all the categories by the category type and the other attributes. So it is enabled and it collects the information inside search and cart activity and purchase activity. All when they are enabled, that tracking information flows into the Marketing Cloud recommendations engine. If we don't have this cart activity or the purchase activity enabled, then whatever the purchases made on the website cannot flow back. The tracking information cannot come back to this. So this is where we set up what kind of information, what tracking attributes that we want to set, and also what type of activities that we want to watch on a customer behavior. We set everything here. This is the summary of everything in here. So I will come back to this one after covering a few slides here. So this is what we have seen, options. So we set up the catalog, what is the catalog type and the attributes, the users, tracking information, what kind of activity that has to be tracked and everything. So how everything is tracked, it's through the collect code. Collect code is a simple script that can be included within the HTML on selected pages. We can include on the selective pages on the website or the complete banner of the website. So it watches what the user behavior and sends the data back to the email recommendations or the web recommendations. So what kind of information that it can send is about the subscriber and the visitor. If it is a unknown customer, it's considered as a visitor. So if it is a known customer, it's the subscriber who have signed up. So it collects all their user information, their behavioral information, and update about the products. Any products that are uploaded new or in stock, out stock, sale price or any changes in the product. So those updates can be sent back, and depending on these behavior, so the recommendations engine can provide the recommendations. So these collect code types depends on the activity of the user. So whoever is browsing on the website. So what are the different types of collect codes that can be included? Item detail views. If let's say on the home page, I get a list of all the products, but if I click on the product and look at the details of the item, the product, so it collects the information about that. So if the user has clicked on the product and looked at the details, it means that the user is more interested in that product compared to what they see on the home page versus what they click and look at the details. It means that they have more interest when they click on the item detail and the category views. So if they go and select the categories and view all the items within the category, so that is considered as the category view. And inside searches, the cart activity, purchase activities are also the different type of behavior that can be tracked. Unique identifiers are something that we set for each individual. So in order to identify any customer, there may be thousands and thousands of customers who are accessing the website. So in order to identify them uniquely, we need to identify some unique ID on them. In many cases, email can be the option, because when they sign up, that is the basic information that they provide. So email can be used. And what are the different ways that we can collect the user information is when they sign in, they provide the information. And also it's a custom tool that is available, which is the email collection lightbox. So that can also be used to get the unique IDs. And other way is to, when we send out an email and the user clicks a link on one of the product listed, so from that on, we collect the email ID, we save that email ID, and from that product through the collect code, it still captures the email ID and then it sends back to the recommendations engine. So the unique ID can be anything, but if that's something, let's say on a loan website, loan payment, loan management website, each user signs up using their customer ID, or a banking system, or some regular websites that we log in using our customer IDs. So the customer ID can be the unique ID. If some organizations, they just maintain the information using their email ID, so email ID could be the unique ID. So this is something which we need to identify, and this has to be consistent across. So we identify them as a single contact, not duplicate contacts. And when we collect all the information we have been using different tracking methods and behaviors. We are collecting all the information and sending that information back to the recommendations engine. So after that, what happens is, so we have got all the information. Then we come to a opinion about a certain customer, saying, hey, this customer has spent this much time browsing this product. Maybe he is interested in this product, or in this area, he is looking for some house to purchase some houses or something like that. So we create some affinity for each profile. We create some affinities, like the products that they may be interested in, the categories, and so on. So top 5 affinities are maintained within the engine, and these affinities are based on the keywords and fields that are used in the catalog. So when we create the products in the catalog, we set some keywords saying the hiking or the camping or the sportswear or something like that. So based on the keywords that have been defined, so it tries to search for the other products which have the same keywords and tries to build that affinity. Affinity is something which a customer has more inclination or more interest to buy, or they have some prospect, maybe they may buy in the future. So the top 5 affinities, this is an example. So the product category is men's category, and Under that subcategory is men's footwear. The related activity is running, and it's based on the keywords running, hiking, training, and leisure. So all the products which meet this specific criteria, the same category as men's footwear and footwear, and the related activities running, all these keywords and these categories match, or those products will be included in the recommendations. So here I will take a switch and go back to show the collect. This is just a simple configuration that I'm going to show. So under the admin and the implementation, we have these collect code options. So when we are syncing the catalog, how we want to sync is the batch upload enabled or not, the streaming updates enabled or not. So we enable or disable here. The batch upload is enabled, it's on, and there have been a batch upload so and so time in the previous using this sample file. So it gives a list of that here, and the streaming updates. So if we have a website, a e-commerce website, and we have set up the streaming, so we can say, we can turn it on and include the domain here and register this and set up this configuration here. And these are all the various things that we can copy and include them on the website. So this is the base collect code, and we're going to include that on the website and set user and attributes. So on the website, if some user comes and browses a site, so we use this snippet and include, and we include the email or the unique ID, and this code tracks the behavior, the website, and it sends the information back to the email recommendations. And if you want to track item detail, so we include the specific product. So whoever is visiting that specific product, that information will be sent back. So these are all the different categories where we can track information. So we can copy this and include that in the snippet on the website. You can implement the collect code on the website. So once we have this collect code included, that collect code, we have this base collect code here. And along with that, all the different scenarios, all the different information that we want to include. We want to get some custom attributes as well. We can define them here. And we input everything on the website's HTML. And then it sends all the data back to the marketing cloud. And here it shows the status of all the previous tracking codes and the status, and behavioral trigger is something which we haven't covered. So we can look at it later. But the status of all these streaming uploads and the catalog information, the tracking information is displayed here. And here, there are some advanced settings. So the session, and this is just on the website, how long you want to collect. You want to treat that as a single session. We define it here. And the next one, email login. In the email recommendations, so how many times a specific item, product is displayed, we can track this one here. And this will display under the reporting. We're not going to look at the reporting option today, but under the reporting, we get all this. Once this is turned on, we get all this information under the reporting tab. And so we have collected the data in the recommendations engine. We have tracked the user behavior and collected that. So how are we going to use that information? So the information in the recommendations engine can be connected back to the marketing cloud's contact model. So once we have that information available, we can run our own journeys based on the user affinity. So user has more interest, depending on the affinity of the user, we can put them in a journey or take them out of the journey. We can define the steps based on that user affinities. And also based on some user behavior, we can trigger messages in the Marketing Cloud. And also the data can be exported to a external system as well. And this also can be exported to the Salesforce. So the Service Cloud, the agent, customer representative can view on a specific profile and get all the affinity information. So on a specific record in the Sales Cloud, they can look at the affinities as well. So within the Sales Cloud itself, they can look at all the purchased or abandoned or in cart or the most interested items and so on. So this data can be exported and all this information can be made available within the Sales Cloud. And also we can use that information for creating the data extension. So once we have this data collected, we can create several data extensions which can be sent back to the Marketing Cloud, and those can be used for segmentation. Let's say we have this tracking code and we identified people who are interested in the next campaign, so who are interested to attend an event or something like that. So we have that segmented audience, so we send it to the Marketing Cloud, and then from the Marketing Cloud we can use that segment to send them out an information or some updates about the event and so on. So how do we do that? So under I can show this. So we have already seen the status. So under the status, we have this data extension settings. Once we enable this, it's going to create a number of data extensions. So enable Einstein data extensions is where we set this up. So it passes raw data gathered via tracking code into the contact builder. So the data extensions that are created in the Marketing Cloud, so they can be used as a segments for the following email communications or in the journeys. So the data is organized in up to 8 data extensions. And going back to, so we have collected the data and we can use that data to send to the CRM or to the journeys Marketing Cloud contact model. And also the main intention is to provide the recommendations. So recommendations are based on some algorithms. So we have the data, how we use the data and how effectively we create the algorithms. It defines how effective the recommendations are. So the logic is where we create the rules. So based on this behavior, and if this behavior is so and so, if they clicked on the item page, the detail page, and if they have spent so and so time, then recommend this product. So we can create some logic for the recommendations. And also we can choose how the product is displayed. So there are 2 options on the overview page. We can quickly go and see that. So on the overview page, the logic, we can create a new logic. So this is based on the product catalog. I create, and by default, it gives me the display. So as you see here, you may not notice the difference between these, but if you hover on these, so this one has the camping underneath the very bottom of the image. They have this camping that category, the keyword listed, and this one has the stars, the rating listed. And this one is a simple, which doesn't have the rating or the keyword included. So these are the different types of displays of a product. So we can create our own display of the product. So I just create this one, and how we want to view that product. For definitely, I want to include the product code, and also I want to include the product image. I add this, and what else I want to include? The product name, and I want the image to be displayed after the name. And what else I want? Image is included, and the regular price and the sale price. Okay, I have this view. As I keep adding this, the view keeps changing. So I have this view here, and also I want to include the rating as well. So the rating is 0.0. So I can set this display how I want to see. And if I'm happy with this one, I'll go and save and publish or stage the changes. Maybe I'll come later and edit this still. So right now I'm not doing any changes. I can use the existing ones. So this is how the display looks like. I will select one. And then scenarios. Scenarios is the main, is like the heart where we define all the logic. So we have these scenarios listed, and if all these scenarios are satisfied, then the algorithm considers those, and then based on that it provides the recommendations. And the how the recommendation grid should display in the email, it's 3x3, or I just want to display one item, or I want to display 8 items together, or multiple number of items. This is how I select how it has to be displayed. And coming back to the scenarios, there are a set of scenarios that are present. So it's important to understand what each one means. Bought means a customer who has bought one item already bought another item. Let's say if you have purchased, if you're trying to purchase a pen or something, it will give you suggestions for another product as well, like a book, saying customers purchased this, also bought this. So it's giving us some choices, some ideas to buy other products as well. And click bought, customers who have clicked on one item have bought this, or customer who have viewed a specific category have bought this. This is based on the purchases done of other users, not the logged in user, but the other users. It gathers this information and provides the recommendations. These are all the different scenarios that are available. View, users who have viewed also viewed these items, or also bought these items, or who have searched a specific item also viewed these items. So based on these logic, based on these tags that we set here, so we can identify all the recommendations that we can the engine can suggest. Let's say I go and check for some item, some camping item. So other users who have purchased camping items, they will have a history of all the items purchased together. So the tent, the gear, the bottles, the equipment, fire equipment, and everything. So when I log in and try to buy one in that product bundle, I can get to see all the items that belong to that product bundle, and I can get ideas saying, hey, I didn't purchase this, I still need it, so I can make the purchase. So this will be helpful in those scenarios. And this is where we set all the scenarios here. And if we still want to go and do modifications, we want to customize this still, because this is based on what is already available in here. So we have seen a list of scenarios that are listed here that are available. Only these ones we can utilize in setting up this algorithm. So I can have these items selected and add this. So this gets added. So I can remove, or I can change this, and I can add more, the top sellers and so on. If I save this, and if I still want to go and update these, make more customizations, I can add more rules here. And it's based on product. So this applies to the channels. the channels and pages. So it applies to all the pages or all the channels. We can define that here. And the attributes. These are all the event attribute. Purchase includes the product code of so and so, or purchase is less than 5 days ago. So it identifies all the purchases done, and actions are listed here. We can select what actions are more relevant. So if this happens, if as you select these items here, the rule text also changes here. As you see, if purchase occurs within the last 5 days, then under the actions, I will pull in something. Under the actions, then exclude. Then exclude the purchased item. If I already purchased an item and that is something like a one-time purchase, and I do not want to purchase it again, I can exclude the same item with the same product code, or I can set some rules to exclude those items, or these are certain actions and rules that are available. Allow only X of any. So in the recommendations, if we are providing recommendations of all pens or all books, so it may not drive more engagement because it's all pens. We can include a mix and match of the items. We can say allow only one pen and rest display recommendations for other items, other categories, or other recommendation logic. Maybe the books or the camping equipment or something like that. We can mix, and we can say allow only 2 of the same category, or allow only one of the specific category or any of the categories that are listed, and exclude some of the items that I do not want to include or inject, or we can define all these actions here. Under the event attributes, we can include the purchase attributes, view or visits. They have viewed a specific item within the last few days, or that has a specific product code or something, or a price range, something we can set here, all the actions and the attributes. So this is like the rule that we set. Based on this, if the action is so and so, the recommendation will be provided depending on that. And the rule, once I create, I enable or disable it by using this option. And we can also set the expiration date, how long you want to have the rule to run. And similarly for the scenario as well, as you have seen, scenario as well, I'll go back and create it one more time. We have these options, and we can select these and add. And in here we can so I'll exit without saving this. So this is how I create the logic, and based on this, the specific items will be recommended in the email or in the website. So there are few other items that are still required to be configured. So they can be covered in the next session. So we have seen until the rule manager here. Maybe in the next session, we go into the details of how we create more rules and how they come into effect. We can see the live demo of those. So I will stop here and I will see if any questions are there.
I think we don't have any questions. It was really great session. I think I'll ask audience if anyone has any questions. It feels like no questions review. Thank you. Thank you once again, JB. It was really great session. I personally learned a lot. You can definitely catch up in the next session, team. Anything else, you could reach out to me, or you could directly ping JB for any queries. Right, I'll stop the recording and
Thanks so much, Funny.